U.S. President Donald Trump recently hosted a grand dinner with some of the world's top tech billionaires. Videos of this event have already gone viral, but the real headlines came from the massive commitments announced that evening. Apple's CEO, Tim Cook, pledged $600 billion in U.S. manufacturing. Mark Zuckerberg from Meta made a similar promise of $600 billion set to be completed by 2027 to 28. Sundar Pichai of Alphabet announced $250 billion, while Bill Gates also added his part. Altogether, the dinner resulted in commitments worth a staggering $2 trillion. This raises two big questions. Why does America need this? And where will the billionaires actually bring this money from? More importantly, what does this mean for the world in an era of deglobalization, protectionism, and nationalism? And what lessons are there for Pakistan and India? From India's perspective, things look tense. Trump recently tweeted, "Looks like we have lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together." Why is America taking such a tough stance on India? Let's try to understand. Think of it like watching a bad movie. You realize halfway through it's terrible, but you keep watching anyway because you've already invested time. That's called the sunk cost fallacy. This is exactly what people pointed out about the billionaires' faces at that dinner. They looked unhappy. Why? Because they've invested billions in outsourcing, manufacturing in China, India, and beyond. Now being forced to bring everything back to the U.S. means lower profits. Corporations have one mission: to maximize profit. Outsourcing and cheap global labor made that possible. Reshoring means higher costs. For example, American companies currently outsource around $140 billion worth of jobs to India: call centers, IT, software, and BPO. These jobs support about $224 billion of India's economy. If those jobs return to the U.S., costs skyrocket. So, those $140 billion jobs would suddenly cost $300 billion in America. Who pays the difference? Not the billionaires, they'll pass it on. From America's perspective, however, there are benefits. Higher wages at home mean more taxes collected, say $75 billion. Plus, when workers spend locally, the multiplier effect adds hundreds of billions more to the economy. Productivity in the U.S. is also higher due to better infrastructure and fewer disruptions. Altogether, reshoring could boost America's economy by around $300 billion. But there are trade-offs: higher prices for consumers, lower corporate profits, and weaker global competitiveness. Still, this is deglobalization, a clear signal that Cold War II has begun. Countries must now choose between the U.S. bloc and the China bloc. History shows this cycle repeats. In the 1930s, tariffs and protectionism shrank global trade by 66%. After the 2008 financial crisis, similar protectionist measures caused another 10–15% decline. Today, we see the same pattern: restrictions on labor migration, capital flows, and even remittances. The U.S. has already taxed remittances by 5%. That's risky for India, the world's top remittance recipient, and equally dangerous for Pakistan, whose economy relies heavily on remittances too. So what does this mean for India and Pakistan? The world is splitting into a global North versus global South. Both countries must realign their foreign policies wisely. Regional disputes cannot be solved through wars or blame games. Dialogue is the only path forward. The age of globalization is fading. Now it's reshoring and friendshoring. Countries aligned as friends of major powers will benefit, like Mexico is today as U.S. firms leave China. Pakistan is also entering this list and should seize the opportunity for investment and jobs. Pakistan must protect its rare earth reserves, especially in Gilgit-Baltistan, which could be worth trillions. These resources shouldn't be given away in poor deals. Both nations need to prepare for a future where remittances may decline. Pakistan, in particular, must strengthen its domestic economy by distributing unused land to youth, promoting small industries, and empowering local entrepreneurs. The world is changing fast. To survive and thrive, Pakistan, India, and others must adapt to this new era of deglobalization.